Hey Sam,
Yeah,
can you do me a favor and just read out the starting 11 from Brisbane Roar's first game of this past season and the subs as well for that game, if you can, please?
definitely. We have Bozanis in goals. Don't know who that guy is. Salas, Valkanis, Belidi, McGarry, Klein, O'Shea, Stajic, Hoare, Vrakas, and Long playing. On the bench, we had Harrington, Vidic, Roos, Mayroni, Lawton, Freak, and Quinn McNichol.
Okay, cool. So just go through them again slowly, a little bit slowly for
Yeah, so Dean Bozanis in goals.
me.
We had Salas on, I guess, on the right, if you look at it this way.
Gone, gone.
Go on. Volcanis, Bolidi,
hmm
McGarry,
hmm
Sam Klein,
Gone.
J. O'Shea,
hmm
Stajic, or Stage. What does he prefer?
Don't know.
I know
Got a
he
best.
changed from whatever the hell they were saying at the start of the season. Henry Hall, Vrakas,
Gone,
Long,
gone,
Harrington,
gone,
Vidic, Bruce,
gone.
Maroney,
hmm
Lawton, Freak, and McNichol.
Gone. All, all right.
So
So,
many.
yeah, from that first starting 11 and the subs, there's a whole bunch of people that have gone. We were, when the news got announced about Klein going to St Pauli about a
Yep.
week or so ago now, we were going to jump online and do an episode about Sam Klein leaving and, like the rumors about one or two players that we thought might be moving on, and possibly might have gone into thinking of some players that we could sign, and then so we're recording this on Friday, on Saturday night. Sorry.
So then the
Um,
9th of May.
yeah, on so last night the news, or yesterday in the afternoon, the news broke about how many players the Raw have currently let go. And the night before, there were whispers that there was going to be a lot of people going, and that was correct. All of the rumors were 11 people being let go, and that's exactly what's happened, mate. So we've got a little bit to talk about in regards to it because I mean, okay, just quickly, you've gone through that squad, and I'll go through
Yeah.
our departing for 11, not the starting 11,
The
the
departing first 11.
the departing 11. So Ben Warland, Jacob Brissett, Austin Ludwig, Anthony Burke Gilroy, Houston Salas, Marius Loda, Georgios Vrakas, Nick D'Agostino, Ben Halloran, Michael Ruse, Chris Long, and Quinn McNichol, all gone. So out of those, that's 11, isn't it? All up, or 12?
I think I think it was 12 by the sounds of
One,
that.
two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, 11, 12. So that's 12
Yeah, it's
players
12, yeah.
that got let go yesterday, and Sam Klein a week earlier. So that's 13 all up just in the last week.
And Harrington gone
Harrington
throughout
as
the
well.
year,
Yeah.
so it's four, like, there's so many.
So that's four since the January transfer window. That's 14 players that are now gone. Just quickly, I'll just quickly give you my thoughts on a couple of things, and then we can have a bit of a chat about some of the other stuff that's happened as well, mate.
Yeah.
So the rumor came out, I think maybe before the last game of the season, that Quinn McNichol was possibly on his way to Melbourne
Yes.
City.
West kept secret, yep.
Yeah, so that hasn't been confirmed that he's gone to City, but obviously it's confirmed that he's gone now.
Yeah.
Um, So out of those 12 players, we did have there was D'Agostino, Loda, and Salas, who were all loanees, who were all
Yeah,
on one season loans, or in Loda's case, it was a half season loan, pretty much.
yeah,
Um, so we knew, obviously, we knew that Daggers wasn't going to be staying in Brisbane. He was always
yeah.
going to be going back to Europe. Unfortunately, he got injured, which we'll see. Possibly he might have hampered his chances with the World Cup selection. But um, yeah, I completely forgot that Salas was a loanee. So when
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah he was on loan from his club in Costa Rica. He's obviously had a standout season here.
Yeah,
And yeah, the club's I would assume that uh, Brisbane Roar would have tried to negotiate possibly his contract. Um,
why would you assume that?
yeah, we'll go into why possibly not in a second. But yeah, I think the big shock for a lot of people out of that was Jacob Brissett. Well, I mean, yes and no. A shock for us as fans who really like him, but maybe not such a shock seeing as he didn't get any game time this year
That's
when
it.
he
Yeah,
when he was fit. The other one for me that was a little bit surprising, well, two actually that were a little bit surprising for me were Chris Long
yeah.
and Michael Roos. Now, I'll preface that by saying I'm not actually. What I'll do, we'll come back to those two in a sec. I will go through the list and just I'll give you my opinion on who I'm not,
Yeah,
on what I
happy
think
happy
about.
they're gone and who not. Yeah,
Yeah, Ben Warland, I'm a bit on the fence. He was injured for
yeah,
an entire season pretty much. Grand scheme of things, he's basically like an A-League squatty. He's not really a standout A-League central
yeah.
defender. That's just
That's
my opinion. Jacob Brissett, I honestly think was a big mistake letting him go, and who knows what's happened behind the scenes, but there's obviously been something gone wrong somewhere because we could clearly see it over the previous
yeah,
season.
and not just you and me.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
yeah. The overall overwhelming consensus on Instagram and Facebook and all the social media is that everyone seems to be super unhappy that he's been let go, and I would say that most people have been super unhappy that he wasn't played. And especially considering we were lacking directness all season, and
yeah.
that's the one thing that he's got. Like he's
That's it. He's,
he's
he's
still
got some flaws, but he's that's
yeah
where we needed him. Like,
he's young and he's raw, but like yeah, he loves to
well, he's
run
not
at
raw
players.
anymore.
uh, um, yeah, so that one for me is like the whole season with him has been disappointing. Austin
Yeah,
Ludwig, I'm not, I've I've got no problems with him being let go.
yeah. You
Once
sort of
again,
knew that would happen.
yeah, like he was, I think he was like the Queensland NPL Player of the Year.
Yep.
Maybe in the season prior to coming to the Raw, or maybe the season prior to that, I'm not sure, but there's still an obvious gulf in the difference in class between
Yeah.
NPL and A League. He did a job, but he was definitely not a standout. I put him like the same sort of, like in the same basket as Ben Wallen.
Yep.
Um, Anthony Burke Gilroy, I
I actually
think
forgot that he existed.
yeah, man, and I think we again, like in a similar vein to Brissett, we probably could have done with him on a few
Yep.
few
I
occasions this year.
legitimately thought he was gone last year.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean,
that's how much I'd forgotten that he was there. When I saw his name come up, I was like, "What? I thought he was gone already." Like,
he was getting played under Zadkovic as like a pretty much, if I remember correctly, he was playing a lot of left wing back.
yeah,
And then we had Brissett in front of him. Obviously, with McGarry coming to the club, it was that was always going to be his position.
yeah,
And then with Salas, wasn't much room for Bert Gilroy. But in saying that, with Bert Gilroy, we come to one of the people on the next slide that I'm looking at, and that's who for me the most one of the most disappointing signings that we've made in a long time is Georgios Vrakis. Um,
Sorry.
we've spoken about it before. Australian passport, so he wasn't taking up a visa spot,
Yeah,
um, but he was taking up a spot in the squad, and I would have loved to have seen Brissett or Gilroy in that position
in that spot. Yep.
a few more
If
times
he,
than what. Yeah,
yeah,
he ended up,
I don't get that one.
and Vracus ended up spending a lot of time coming off the bench as well. Because I mean, and yeah. Anyway, so very quickly, I'll just run through the rest. Try not to spend too much time on all of them. But Salas, we've spoken about. Um,
Love him.
Marius Loda, yeah, obviously he was probably only ever going to be here for a very short time.
Yep.
He probably would have, like, if he was going to get offered a contract, he would have had to have really stood out in those last
Yeah, that's
10 games or whatever it was that he played. And unfortunately for him, the rest of the team kind of went to shit. And yeah, it was
it was.
hard,
Yeah,
hard for him pairing up with Dimitri Valkanis and Vrakas. Yeah, I've spoken about him enough this season. I'm glad that he's gone. Um, Daggers, we've spoken about. He was probably 99% never going to stay past the loan
yeah.
period.
Past the World Cup. Yep.
Ben Halloran, um, again, I'm not too displeased.
Yeah, he's at an
You know,
age where he probably, yeah, probably needs to be looking at less minutes and
yeah,
or
he'll,
lower league.
yeah, he'll want to be starting games, and yeah, he's just the one thing that Ben has always had, which made him sought after as a player in the A League, was pace, and that's gone. Like
It's gone. Yeah,
he doesn't have that anymore. Similar vein, Michael Roos. Um, everyone that watched.
age finally caught up to him.
Oh no, well, Roos is still young. He's just, I don't know. This is probably the fourth or fifth A League club that he's been at now. And I think
True. Yeah,
unfortunately, there's a reason for that. He's always had a little bit of promise, but it's one of those players that doesn't seem to kick on and make the most of the opportunities that he's given. He made one really beautiful assist this year.
yep.
In that game over in New Zealand for Vidic's goal. Um, Chris Long. Now this one is kind of interesting, and then obviously we've got Quinn McNichol, but we've touched on that before.
Touch on that.
Pretty disappointing to see a potential future, a current under 23,
Current. Yeah.
yeah, under 23 Socceroo potential future Socceroo. Uh, he's off more than likely off to City, where he's probably going to score a fucking hat trick against us in not the not foreseeable future. Now
It's
with
so true though.
Chris Long for me, mate. I think it might have only been a year long contract that he was on,
Mm.
but I don't think Valkanis got the most out of him, and I think that comes down to the way that Valkanis had the team set up. He showed us glimpses. He's still got it. Obviously, he got a bad injury there towards the end of the season.
Yep.
And that was one of the things that some of the fans from his previous clubs have said. If you can keep him,
That's right. Yeah, start of the season we said that. Yep.
yeah, keep him out of the doctor's office, he'll score your goals. And he scored an absolute, probably the goal of the season. Him and Salas is tied for goal of the season, I reckon.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So with just looking back at those players, so you got Chris Long. Out of
Hmm.
those 12 players who got announced yesterday, you've got Chris Long, Michael Roos, Georges Vrakas, who were all three of them were signings that Michael Valkanis made.
Yep. And Loader.
Yeah, they were. He's
Oh,
a
but
he's a
he's alone.
he was
Yeah.
a loanee. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna count the
Yeah,
loanee
I
players
wouldn't call them. Yeah.
because you never fall in love with the loan player. That's the golden
No.
rule of football. But yeah, so Roos, Long, and Brackus were all his decisions to bring
Hmm.
them here. And I mean, if he has deemed them not good enough, then that's for me that's a call on his judgment and his selection.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on any of those players or what I've just mentioned or what, mate?
That was literally it. Yeah. Admitting that you failed is pretty much what's happened with those three guys disappearing. The fact that we could only get loan players in the transfer window. So it was very telling. But you never know. Like it could have been his plan all along was to bring in certain players that he thought would fit in with this current team, and then at the end of this season, put the broom through him and start afresh.
I just
Could
need
be,
four
yeah.
transfer windows.
Well, I don't think it's much as that for him. I think it's more just getting people in that are his style. Um, yeah, I don't know if he needs that much of a. We saw it at the start of the season. He just needs a bunch of guys that will buy into the snake oil that he's selling, and yeah, and do the things that he wants to do, and have lack of injuries, and we can do quite well.
Mm.
Because all those players that you mentioned, apart from the lone ones, mid-year, pretty much all of those players, yeah, they were all like feature players at some point. So it's I don't know how you replace a lot of them. So
Yeah,
there's
well, I
only
mean,
really what 2 players out of those 14 that are not are not A League sort of standard.
yeah,
Or like not I wouldn't say that, but I'd say that they're sort of like not quite consistent A League players, but they're way above NPL. Like they're in that weird gap.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but yeah, apart from that, all those other players should have done better, and they didn't. And it was the players before them that were doing all the work, and as soon as they disappeared, yeah. The one that killed me is Stayich. Wanted him to stay, wanted Borland to stay because we just like.
stage hasn't gone.
I thought you said stay. Didn't I just say? Oh no, because I read out the Stayich one, didn't I?
Yeah.
In the start. That's where I'm getting that from.
Well,
Yeah.
we'll get to
And
that.
the other one,
We'll touch on
yeah,
that in a
no,
sec.
well,
Keep on going, mate.
the other one was Long. Was like I was really shocked that he would let go of him
Mhm.
because I mean I can't imagine he costs much, and well I can't imagine he really does. Like
I think he might
he would
have
have been. He would have
because
been. Yeah.
yeah, he would have been on decent money. Just coming from like to get a player, who is a proven goal scorer at a higher level in England, even at his age and
Right.
everything, like they still would have been asking for decent money. Trust me. Yeah, he wouldn't have been coming over
Okay.
here for a holiday. So he would have been taking up a good whack of the cap, I reckon, mate.
Okay. Yeah. Because well, like you say, he was a goal scorer. He'd only scored a few in that season that he played last. Um, and yeah, like he was injury prone and all these sort of things. Like, yeah, I didn't look at him when we signed him as a big signing. That's all.
Well, for him, it wouldn't be big money, but for us, it is.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
yeah. He could have been. I don't know. Probably on three
Like two
fifty,
hundred thousand.
350 a
He's
year
on
or something like
$350 a week. Yes, that's
that. That was Sammy Klein the year before.
that's
Um,
Sam. Yeah.
well, that's one thing we got to talk about as well, mate. That's like our whole, talking about next season in the last episode was all about
Build it around him.
building a team around Sam Klein. I mean,
But
first of
well,
all,
at,
mate.
at the start of the season, it was build the team around Harrington,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Oh,
then he got
we knew
just
that Harrington
kills
was
me.
going at the start of the
Mm.
season. Um, just yeah, I think we like have to say a massive congratulations to Sam Klein first of all. Like
Yeah, definitely.
it's a huge move for him. Like going to a club like St Pauli. I'm not sure if they've been relegated. They
Yeah,
were,
I don't know. I didn't look into it, but I do know them very well just from being around them.
yeah,
Crazy fans, and well, basically the whole fan base in and around them is pretty full on. So, but he'll be he'll not only will he get what he needs there, but he will have the experience that will make you realize, like I was not in a football country at all.
Yeah, yeah.
It's shocking. It really it quite is. Like I've if he hasn't been overseas before for football, or if he's only been to like England or something like that, he's in for a rude shock once he gets there. He'll be yeah. I remember similar sort of rivalry for the game that I went to in Germany, and it yeah like we were like 10 minutes late to the game. And we were staying in like a sporting facility that was across the road from the stadium, and the stadium was as loud as I know a stadium to be inside in Australia. And we're just like, oh my god, like this is crazy. And then yeah, we got to go sort of like straight through to the stadium and then out the tunnel, sort of where the players walk, and that's how we walked up to our seats. And it's yeah, it is a different experience, and it's not full. Like that's not like every seat full. So I can imagine what it's like when it's like finals time and both teams have got full support. It'd be yeah, really cool experience for him, and
Yeah,
I'm really proud of him and Harrington doing what they've done because they've gone to clubs that are like aren't overdoing it.
mhm.
So he's not going to somewhere where he's just going to sit on the bench. He will get time on the field, and they play in different cups and different things so that he will definitely get time.
Yeah.
Whereas like Harrington went to a club that is like he just played beside he just was defending Messi like insane. Yeah, like both of them just have. I'm so happy for them, but so annoyed that they had to leave us to do it. But yeah, hopefully they're in the Socceroos squads in the World Cup to come, because I don't think they'll be in this one.
No, I
Harrington
think
might.
Harrington
I think so.
might
Yeah,
sneak in. Yeah.
yeah.
I
At
don't think
least be
semi
there.
final. But
No, same time definitely won't this one, but I think the next one he has to be. We're going to have a whole heap of young players come through because, by the sounds things, yeah, go on another tangent is it. I don't think he's going with much youth for this World Cup, which is really disappointing. So that's
yeah,
for another
that
podcast.
that's for another podcast. That's right.
Yeah,
Sorry, mate. I'm just having a quick look. So he's joining Jackson Irvine and Connor
yeah,
Metcalf
Jackson Irvine.
at St Pauli, and I'm just going to have a quick look and see if they've been relegated or not.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I did see actually just before I was looking at the English Championship, and it looks like Wrexham lost their last game to make them seventh, so they didn't get into the
Yeah, they didn't get
knockout stages.
through the knockout
That's so
stage.
disappointing. Bloody like a
Um,
dream come true getting that far.
Let me have a quick look at the. I should have had a look at this before we got
That's all right.
started, but Bundesliga ladder.
Have you been
Uh,
watching any of the Colorado games?
no, no.
It's worth a watch. Like the MLS, as boring as the commentators can be, it can sort of do your head in. It's like college atmosphere. Like that's the sort of atmosphere on the ground. Like it's actually yeah, I'd actually really love to go to a game over there.
I'd love to go to an MLS game.
Mm,
Also, St Pauli are second from the bottom, so they're in the relegation zone, and
yep.
I think there's 2 games left in the Bundesliga. So they're 3 points above Heidenheim, and they're equal points with Wolfsburg.
Oh
And both,
wow.
yeah, both,
Isn't it
both,
weird seeing teams like that in
yeah,
relegation?
yeah.
Jesus.
So Wolfsburg and St Pauli are both on 26 points, and they're both 6 points behind Werder. So yeah, I mean, maybe the bottom two go down in the Bundesliga.
It usually has a color on the left hand side in the relegation zone
I'm just looking at it,
on the
just a
ladder
quick
there.
little snapshot on Google. Yeah, so they potentially they're on equal points with Wolfsburg. So depending on what happens in the next two
In
games, I
those
think
next
will
games, yep.
determine, yeah, whether. I mean, if they do go down to Bundesliga 2, then I think Sam Klein will probably definitely be guaranteed of a lot of game time.
Definitely, yeah.
If they stay up in the Bundesliga, he might not see as much, but if they do go down, he will see a lot more game time. And the Bundesliga 2 is a lot stronger than the A League, so that'd be good for him either
Oh,
way.
it's yeah.
Um, just we were talking, just touched on it before, Sam, about the when we were talking about what were we talking about in regards to like the professionalism of the club.
I'm talking about
Uh,
the Queensland Post, the Queensland football culture
yeah, well, I
post,
noticed it.
or
I noticed it yesterday, and I think I texted. I'm not sure. Did I text you with the screenshot of it?
you may have so much has
Yeah, I,
happened.
I texted both you and friend of the pod, Woods, a screenshot because I basically, yeah, I was just going through Instagram. Like I thought I'll just be interesting to see if any of the players who've been let go have done a
Yeah.
post or anything up. And the first one that I came across was Ben Wallen. And let me just go to the actual post so we can read it out. Yeah, I was just scrolling through the comments and just watching all of the other players that have been let go commenting on each other's posts and the other
Yeah.
players and stuff and all of the fans, just sort of like getting a gauge of what people were saying to each other.
Hmm.
And I noticed on Ben
And
Wallen's post that his wife had left
that was
this
brutal.
comment.
Brutal.
Um, yeah, so Ben said,
Oh, so to preface this, so I've interacted and like I ran into them out at God, I can't think of where it was now, a service station in Brisbane. And I was like, oh, like that's Ben Wallen. So, hey, how's it going? And then spoke to his wife while he went in and paid, and we had a chat because I was still pumping, and we had a good old chat. And I guarantee you this stuff just completely blindsided them. It's the way that they were talking and the way that she was talking because she's been sort of growing her Instagram and stuff at the same time. Um, it just it sounded like they were settling in to play here for a few years, yeah, and to get blindsided in the way that they did, yeah, would shock yeah, it really would shock me. It like shocked me that she would do what you're about to talk about.
yeah, yeah. So Ben's caption on Instagram was disappointing way to end my time at the Raw, but it's taught me so much both on the field and off it. Met some awesome people that'll be mates for life. Grateful for his wife for keeping me sane throughout. Bigger and better things to come. And then I went through the comments, and his wife left a comment. Where is it? I thought it'd be close up to the top, unless she's deleted. Oh no, here it is. She said,
Oh, so it's still on
hopefully,
there.
yeah. She said,
Nice.
hopefully next one doesn't end with a voice note. And then she made the emoji with the heart hands.
Ends.
Yeah. So from we're not journalists, so we haven't verified anything. We're just two dudes who talk to each other on the internet, and
Yeah.
so this is just one point of view that's come out, and from the sound of it from there from Olivia, it sounds like Ben got a fucking voice note left on his phone or a
Which
DM on
is
Instagram or however it was delivered
the
to him.
worst way that, yeah.
Yeah,
I can't imagine a worse way. Like
no, that's
texting's probably
horrible.
better than a voice message.
Oh, both,
Like
both is
that's
like
coward. No,
if
I mean at
that's
least a text you're a text you'd be putting it as it's a formal way of writing it. Whereas
it's in writing. Yeah,
yeah. Whereas like saying it and not saying it to them is I feel like so much worse.
yeah.
How many times
It
did you record that recording too?
it'd be really interesting to hear, like if we can try and find out. Like I said to you when
How
we
the
were
other
texting,
boys found out
who,
as well?
that and also who actually left the voice note.
Yeah,
For
true. Yep.
if that's the case, that won't come out as I mentioned to you before we went live, Sam. Um, you know, it's almost guaranteed that every player who signs a contract is going to have some version of an NDA written into their contract that they're not allowed to discuss the terms and they're not allowed to discuss the inner workings of the club and things like that. And that's why I think that's why Ange Postecoglou was only just recently started talking about Spurs, because
Yeah, true. Yeah.
his year long NDA after he left the club has gone, so now he can talk about stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're not going to hear it from any of the players. That's why I thought it was interesting that his wife left
Yeah.
that
Good
comment.
on her.
But if that's the case, mate, and if anyone can verify that for
Yeah.
us, that's fucking disgraceful.
Yeah.
Like,
Like, I don't want anything to do with this management if that's the case. Like, I actually don't. I don't want them anywhere near our club, whoever is responsible for it.
if you,
It's
yeah,
disgusting.
that's where it would be interesting to find out who it was. Like, was it Kaz? Was it Zach? Was it Michael Valkanis? Was it this new guy,
Yep, the new guy. Yep.
James Gow, the new sporting director, or whatever he is?
Yeah,
Because
basically that's
apparently
his role. Yeah.
he's meant to be handling some of the transfers and stuff or whatever. So Um, yeah, for me, that was, like I said, you have to take it not with a grain of salt, but there's always two sides to a story.
Yep.
But if that is the case, that's an absolute disgrace. And
Oh, that's
whoever signed off on that, yeah, um, that's not how you run a small
yeah.
business, let alone a football club.
And
You
before
have the
I'd
balls.
even read all that and knew all that, I had reached out to Ben as well, just to see if he would be keen to sort of have a chat with us, seeing as it was a bit of a blindside for us as well. And yeah, and he's sort of like respectfully declining the offer, but would definitely be keen in the future to have a chat about it. So yeah, we'll just wait for that moment to happen because that would be very interesting to know. Because yeah, it could open up a whole can of worms for supporters.
Yeah, I mean, it's disgraceful. Like whoever it was and whoever signed off on the decision, like
Yeah,
yeah, you at least if you yeah, you got to have if you want to be the boss, you got to have you got to take the good with the bad, and part of being a boss is that you've got to hire and you've got to fire,
yeah,
and you've got to be able to these are human beings as well. Like he's posted his farewell photo of him walking out of the tunnel with his kids,
yeah,
like and the club's reputation is already in the fucking dirt, man. Like they just don't need shit like this. And
yeah,
there needs to
exactly.
be, I think there needs to be a clarification of this from someone from the club. Otherwise, if it's just left to go and fester and no one's going to talk about it, we're not going to forget about it.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and the other 4 or 5,000 people who've decided to stick around over the last 10 years aren't going to forget about it either, as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be really pissed off about that.
Yeah, like and that's kind of why I'd love to be able to verify it because like, I don't know if I'd want to continue supporting while that person's around. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, it cut deep.
it's disgusting.
Yeah,
Well, look, mate, we're not going to make this go any longer tonight.
no,
We've only got about 2 minutes left to go right now, and we said that we didn't know when we were going to pod again. We said we'd come back and do a pod when there was some major news, and
yeah. When
a week later, bunch of
the
major news.
what would you call them? What we got to come up with a name for the 11.
The departing 11.
The 12, wasn't it 12 actually?
Yeah, not the starting
Yeah,
11, the
12.
departing 12.
Yeah, departing 11. Jesus Christ.
Well, look,
Mm.
Sam. Yeah, if if there's any more news that comes to light about how this was
And
handled,
I'll sniff around as well. I'll have
yeah,
a chat with a fair few players and people around the club. So yeah, see what we can sort of find out because all did. No one has to name names, but just want to know if that was true. That was horrible if it is.
yeah, and if any of the other players on that list were handled in the
Mm.
same way or in the past, we'd like to hear about that as well. Any past players? Yeah, I mean, I just really quickly, we've got a minute to go, but I know Eric Pardew mentioned to one of the Ailey podcasts that he did that the club hasn't reached out to him for anything basically since he left the club. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot left to be desired when it comes to the way that the club's run still. The start of last season, the start of this season just passed has sort of glossed over it. Everything else still remains pretty shit.
Yeah.
All right, well, look, mate, let's leave it there. We're about to run out of time. Thanks, everyone, for listening or for watching on YouTube. And Sam and I will be back soon with some more news, good or bad. Cheers.
Eventually. Peace.